Thank you very much. My name is Jahu Sambafal. I am representing Gambia and the rest of Africa. I work for an association. I work for an association that is called ATUPA, and that is the Association of Technical Universities and Polytechnics in Africa. This association was born 45 years ago in Accra, Ghana, and our offices are in Kenya. There are 225 institutions that are universities, polytechnics, and colleges that have the ideals of TVET in Africa. So these are our members, and we are in 21 countries out of the 55 countries in Africa. So that is just basically a background of who we are. Many people call us CAPA, C-A-P-E, because that was the first name we had in 1978, until in 2019, when the name was changed to ATUPA. And this was through the encouragement of the African Union Commission, because they wanted us to go continental rather than only for Commonwealth countries. Quickly, some key areas, as you can see, that we concentrate on as part of our drive to bring in African countries, but more specifically, those institutions that are TVET-oriented. A rundown of the countries that are members. As you can see, it spreads within the western part of Africa, eastern part of Africa, and also in the southern central part of Africa. So now the joining of this new name is encouraging the French-speaking and also the Arab-speaking countries in Africa to join. The importance of skills competition, I would just reiterate what previous speakers, and as you can see in this nice directory, it contains basically all what is really the importance of having skills competition. It's talking about recognition, it's talking about love, it's talking about inspiration, you know, and that is just a rundown, which I'm not going to really spend so much time on. Okay. Skills competition, we always say, is a good thing. Now, when I was invited as a Gambian national to really talk about what is happening in the Gambia as far as skills competition is concerned. And that is why it has been singled out and then really worked on. Gambia, as you know, is in West Africa, a tiny country with 2.2 million in population, but beautiful and friendly people, and that's why we have been dubbed with the name the Smiling Coast of Africa. Now, when it comes to skill competitions, and this is like many other countries, it is being led by the government. I think we all agree that it is very important that we have the political will, that the government supports what we do. Because at the end of the day, our budget must go back to the government for support. And the government should also spearhead getting the private sector to be partners with us. And it's the same scenario in Gambia. The government spearheads this with the Accreditation and Quality Assurance Authority. But then we have great support coming from UNESCO, FOICA, in terms of the skills competition, in terms of really giving the facilities that are required. And you can see that at the very bottom. There is one new University of Science, Engineering, and Technology called USET. This is now a university which I was the principal for 5 years when it was a polytechnic. And recently, this is just about 2 years ago, but I started the transformation before I moved on to Nairobi for my new position as the CEO of ATUPA. So it is now a full-fledged university for science, engineering, and technology. And these are the prime partners with FOICA and UNESCO in terms of developing skills to a higher level, because before it didn't exist. And many of the students and the graduates just stopped at the diploma level and now would have to look for higher qualifications in the sub-region. But that is now a thing of the past since the transformation of the Polytechnic into a university. This is just talking about really a team that is right now in Singapore competing at the FGC. It has ended because, yes, it has ended. This was the very first week in October. It has ended, and they have developed what we call one of the robotics components to do with welding. And that's the team that paid a courtesy call on the Ministry of Higher Education before their departure. That's the map of Gambia, as you can see. We have our colors, red, white, blue, white, and green. Like many of us, we talk about the sunshine, the ocean, and then the agriculture for the green. Now, the last national skills competition was held last year at the end of November. And as you can see, we have one of the winners being interviewed. Malik is the name, and he was the winner for masonry at the time. And then he talked about really his experience being part of this competition and what he gained, as you can see. Then another winner on block making or block laying is right there. It's the same Malik, but in action. So this was covered in the media, in the newspapers, and also on TV as to what had happened last year during the skills competition. Another one on electrical installation, another winner is there on electrical installation, again talking about his experience. He's called Abdullah. He's talking about his experience as participating in the skills competition and also as emerging as a winner. A lady on fashion design is tailoring. Again, the winner that emerged last year, Binta, also talked about a dream coming true as a result of competing in the competition last year. Usually at the end of the competitions, there is national awards ceremony that is held. And these are for the winners to be awarded. As you can see, there is a cash of $500 equivalent that was awarded, plus some in-kind support. Because many a times, these people, they end up as entrepreneurs. These young people end up as entrepreneurs, and they need some sort of seed money, really, to start a new life. So the award ceremony gives out the awards that have been allocated to the winners. Okay, winners again. Now, this is the most recent support that was given to the university. This is also in Gambia by COICA, UNESCO COICA, and is about 3D printers. Again, another innovation, a new thing in the Gambia for training facilities to have. You can see trainers, staff, and students at a round table talking about what to do with the policy of bringing in the 3D. I wanted just to say a few things about other countries. Like I say, my association talk about, has a membership of many countries in Africa. And since they are not represented, our role would be that coordination. I'm here so that I'll be able now to benchmark what is happening and then to share with other members that are not able to be here. So Nigeria basically just talk about, like I said, it comes to the same thing in terms of the structure from the government, the Ministry of Education responsible and supporting all TVET institutions. And now what we have in Africa is like all other countries are making Tibet a business of the nation. So every region in the country would have at least one Tibet facility supported by the government. So that's what is happening in Nigeria. That's their flag. Senegal is the baby of Atupa because they are the newest country to join as a French-speaking. We were having only English-speaking countries until recently when we changed our name from Kappa to Atupa, then Senegal jumped in and be a member. So that's what Senegal is also doing. Nothing different. That's their flag with the green star. Uganda is also a member, as you can see. That's a brief history of what is going on as far as Tibet and skills competition is concerned in Uganda. Rwanda, doing very well too in terms of skills competition in their own country. Yep. In their various provinces at the World Skills Africa, participated and winning medals. Again, I come to Atupa. The reason why my presence here is really of paramount importance. Now, within the Atupa setup, what we do is to try to bring in skills competition at our level. We have our regular events like conferences, annual conference every year, where we bring all the member countries together. And now, within this, we do what we call innovation, pitch competition. We invite our universities, our colleges, our polytechnics to design and bring in innovations that have taken place in their learning environment to the conference where you have 400 or even more than 400 members present during this conference to showcase. And then they compete. The competition is done prior to the conference. Now at the conference, they come in for the semifinals and the final at the continental level. So we do our own thing at Atupa to encourage this type of skills competition. So as you can see, this is very recent. This was done 2 months ago when we met in Ghana, and we have different countries that participated. Another team from another country is also there. Like I said 2 years ago, this is also another team. You can see the backdrop with Atupa at the back. All the youth that came in and participated. Now, this youth forum is, I would say, a brainchild of the African Union Commission. And even the commissioner himself attended this event with a whole team that came because they sponsored this particular event. And they encourage you to come in and show their talents and their skills. So the winners are awarded. Winners, these are the judges that went through and awarded the winners, the right winners at the time. The challenges are the same. I always say that if you look at a challenge from an African country, you see it cross-cuts throughout. So just a rundown of the challenges that we see in one country, and it resonates in other countries. So what do we do with these challenges? We try to bring opportunities. When we look at all these challenges that go through, we say, how do we go about to curb these challenges? There are opportunities. We always boast of having a youthful population, that Africa has got a youthful population, compared to many other continents that maybe they have more elders than you. So now what do you do with that good asset? You have to make sure that you engage the youth, for example, and what is it that they need to do? They need to be given skills. I think we all agree that TVET is the answer, that with TVET, employment is guaranteed. So these are all host of opportunities that we highlighted, that we, at Atupa, we engage the youth to be able to do that. So that's Atupa basically. Like I said, we observe, we benchmark, but then more importantly, we take back and share. That knowledge sharing is very important. because we realize that there are countries in Africa that are not really active in skills competition. How do we bring them on board? We have countries like Zambia, we have countries like Ghana, we have countries like Kenya. The reason why Kenya and Ghana were not listed, because I saw that they were supposed to participate. And as a result, I didn't really amplify what they have been doing. But like for Kenya, they joined newly, and they are doing fantastic job. So for Atupa to be able now to do that type of collaboration with these big partners that are already into it would be something that we can do quite neatly. So, but I think this picture is very familiar with all of you. You can see me somewhere there with my scarf. I'm right there. I was one of the participants in Namibia last year. Okay. So finally, like I said, I've already made a rundown of our role as Atupa. What do we do? How do we bring all the African countries into what we do? How do we participate? One person participating in such events and now sharing with the rest of Africa. Okay. Finally, I just want to take the opportunity to invite all of you to our next big event, which is happening in Nairobi in August 2024. So please diarize it. Otherwise, thank you very much. Asanteni sana.
네, 감비아와 투파에 대한 이제 또 자세한 소개를 해주셔서 제가 다시 한번 감사의 말씀을 드립니다.